This is the Chigee All-in-One 6 Max, and while on the surface, it seems to be just another Carplay device to spruce up your motorcycle, Chigee claims that this is the bee's knees when it comes to motorcycle navigation. And they're not lying, but that's also not the full truth, because we've put the AIO-6 through its paces, seen what it can do, but more importantly, where it falls a bit short. We're gonna go quite a bit in depth on this device and separate the marketing fluff from reality. So if this is something that you've been eyeing for a while, this video is for you. Stick around. The AIO-6 display is basically part of a Chigee ecosystem. If all you're interested in is getting Apple Carplay or Google Auto on your bike with no other frills, no add-ons, then just the display is all you need. Out of the box, connected to just your phone, which by the way has now found a new freedom of actually living in your pocket and not on your handlebar fighting with the elements, the dust, the rain, the vibrations. Just with the display, you can mirror any app on your phone which is compatible with CarPlay or Google Auto. This means online navigation apps like Waze and Google Maps, offline navigation apps which you might need to use if you're riding somewhere without cell signal, such as Maps.me. All your messaging apps, all your music apps are there right in front of you on a nice big 6-inch touchscreen.
Hopefully this works. And I don't have to carry my... There we go. I don't have to carry my gate remote with me anymore. Yes, this is snow. I don't have snow tires on. It's only a little bit. What could possibly go wrong? I've never fallen at fast speeds or very fast speeds or normal speeds. I've only fallen at these type of speeds. 5 k's an hour, 10 k's an hour. So... holding thumbs.
It's a great system, which if you've been driving a car made in the last 10 years or so, you might be familiar with, and it's implemented in the same way on the Chigee. The top things that set this unit apart from any other unit I've tested so far is the very bright screen, which is great on a bike with the sun shining straight onto it. Chigee has a spec of 2000 nits on their website, but I've seen that number go up to 2400 nits as well. If you don't know what those are, they are a way to measure screen brightness, and in comparison, my LG OLED TV at home can only do 1000 nits, and that's still impressive to me, but it is inside, and only the latest year phones like your 17 Pro have managed to get over 2000 nits, so it's bright.
Yeah, even with the sun beating straight at it, and it's harsh winter sun. I don't want podcasts. There you go. That's perfectly readable. I'm moving out of the way so that the sun can hit the screen straight away. That's fine. That's good.
Secondly, they've put 4 very large and clicky buttons on top of the device, which are very easy to click with your gloves on, so you don't have to faff around with the touchscreen if you quickly want to access the cameras, the CarPlay functionality, or turn the screen off if you're riding at night and it's bothering you.
This is the standard screen that the Chigee comes with. You've got a nice big fat speedometer in the front, and if you know the 1200 GS, you know that this specific arrangement of clocks, the instrument cluster, is absolutely useless when it comes to telling you info. Thankfully, there is a speedometer here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny one here. This is much better. This is like a million times better. Plus, my eyes don't really need to leave the road for that long, because it's a lot more up than where the standard BMW OEM one is. So I'm happy with that. I can see my speed over there perfectly. You've got your tire pressures over here, the front and the rear on the left. Then it tells you what time the sun is setting today. Apparently, I don't know, in about an hour, and your bearing and your altitude, in case you wanted to know what altitude you're at very, very nice, nice layout, very clean. They do have a special button here as well. I've got there we go, that worked. This one shows everything a bit more differently. You've got this little bar here, blue bar. It looks like an RPM meter, but it's not. It shows you kilometers. Same info, just displayed a little bit differently. And you've got a lean angle in the middle here, which you should definitely never use in real time, because you'll just want to, beat the little game. Minus 15, minus 20, minus 26. That's what I saw. See? It's dangerous. Minus 17.
The unboxing experience is exactly what I would expect from a premium product. Very well packaged, a lot of care has been taken here, everything from the foam protection, quality of the outside box, they included stickers, instructions, destructions, and even a keychain with the Chigee logo if you're into that kind of thing. Installation is hassle-free and a lot easier than expected, provided you do some planning first. As standard, the Chigee unit comes with a handlebar mount for a permanent mounting solution. On top of that, you also get a stem mount, a crossbar mount, which I have used here, and a side mirror extension mount. Rule of thumb for me when mounting devices that I have to look at while riding is to mount them as high as humanly possible on my bike. Reason for that is the fact that you will be staring at the screen a lot more than you would think while riding. You might get a message, you might need to check your map, you're not always going to be pulling over to do that safely. So having it high up compared to on your stem, for example, will make sure that you at least have a peripheral vision of the road while you're not fully concentrating on it. If you want a non-permanent mounting solution where you will be taking the unit off the bike a lot, Chigee offers a few quick release modules as well, including a specific BMW one. We will cover all of the BMW related stuff in a different video, so make sure you are subscribed to catch that. After mounting the unit, you need a positive and negative cable straight to your battery, and then an accessory cable, either to a fuse, to an existing accessory wire, or an accessory manager if you're using one of those. Then pick a place for both your cameras if you've opted for these, run your cables to the unit, do some cable management, and you're done. Next up, we have the cameras, coming in at around $180 US. They're quite pricey, but this is really an add-on you should get, especially if you opt for the LTE version of the AIO-6. The LTE variant comes with its own SIM card, so it's always connected to the internet, allowing a bunch of security features to be added. Waking up the device, for example, from the phone app to access the cameras and see what's happening around your bike is a pretty nifty feature. Checking on its location via the built-in GPS or setting a geofence alert in case it decides to start riding without you during the night. If you're safety conscious, then the LTE version is the one for you. The cameras only record in Full HD, that's 1080p, and there are no other 2K or 4K variants. However, they do have two party tricks up their sleeve. First is that they can either record in standard 30 frames per second or a much smoother 60 frames per second.
And 60 frames a second looks very smooth. I cannot wait to go back home and actually see it nice and large on a PC.
While this sounds great on paper, doubles the frames, in reality there isn't much of a difference. You're not gonna see any difference here on this video, for example, because on YouTube this is coming to you at 24 frames per second, but in reality all that 60 frames per second is gonna do is fill up your SD card twice as fast, not actually showing you any more data in those frames. At 30 frames per second, the total bit rate every second, that's the total amount of data being recorded every second, is just 10,000 kilobits per second, or 1.25 megabytes per second, to put that into something more understandable. So there just isn't enough data being recorded to call this anything but a dash cam. Number plates can be easily made out if the car is just in front of you, but anything further away is just garbled. To have something to compare this with, the data being recorded out of the GoPro filming this ride at just 24 frames per second, not 30, is 10 times as much at 12.5 megabytes per second, and you can clearly see the difference in quality here. Yes, the GoPro is recording at 4K instead of at 1080p, so that's already 4 times as many pixels, but the difference in image quality is not just the size of the frame being recorded here. Having 2 cameras permanently loop recording on your bike in the same system is definitely an advantage, so this is an optional add-on I will always go for. The second party favor of the cameras is the system's ability to monitor your blind spots. Using just the cameras, if a car is coming up too fast behind you or on either of your sides, you will get a red warning on the display corresponding to the side the danger is coming from. I wasn't able to catch any of these on camera while filming this, but they have triggered and it's a great safety system to have. Next up in the Chigee ecosystem is the tire pressure monitor. A lovely addition, especially for me, since my OEM ones have just died and the battery on them is non-replaceable.
There's a nice big yellow triangle here on the BMW dash. That's warning me that my rear pressure sensor, tire pressure sensor, the battery's dead, so it doesn't work anymore. That costs an arm and a leg to get replaced because it's not a replaceable battery. You have to buy a new one and get it paired by BMW. Thankfully, I know that I've got 2.5 bar in the rear one.
You can set a low and a high pressure alarm and the device will alert you if your tires go below or above that. Great safety feature to add on your bike if yours are no longer working or if your bike didn't come with a TPMS sensor from the factory. Chigee offers both external or internal sensors, and if you have any fitment issues, there is also a replacement valve stem as well. Here are some of the things I wish Chigee did better with the system, because at the end of the day, we are of course talking about a premium ecosystem here, so no excuses. Device activation. In order to use the AIO-6 for the first time, it needs to connect to the internet to activate with Chigee servers. Insta360 does this with their cameras. I think DJI as well. It needs to stop. I know this is not going to be an issue for 99.9% of users, but the moment I've paid for this device, it is now mine to do with as I see fit, and having to rely on your servers for me to use it is not acceptable. It doesn't need to be constantly connected to the servers once you have activated it, but if you are buying it as a gift and somebody is taking it somewhere, let's say hypothetically, with no phone signal or no Wi-Fi, then they can't use it. Trouble connecting to my Wi-Fi. I could not connect this to my home network to check for updates at all. It would not see my network at all, and in the end I had to use my phone's hotspot to get it online. Weird bug, but worth mentioning. The English translations for the device could be better. For a premium device, I would expect every part of the user interface to be perfect. As an example, under the camera settings, you've got plenty of space there, Chigee, to write the full word resolution instead of resol. Same with the video length and the data overlay, and what on earth is fuss out? Don't know. Not a major thing, but it'll put some people off. Camera quality, I've mentioned this in detail before, and it's not just Chigee, it's every manufacturer of motorcycle dash cams. Their quality is just too bad for 2026. These are not cheap cameras as well. They're almost $180 for a bit over $100. You can get a top-of-the-line GoPro that will record way better video than these cameras. Yes, I know the GoPro is just one camera and these are two, but at the same time, the Chigee cameras probably don't do any of the image processing on the camera itself. The unit does that. They don't have any storage solution, battery management, or microphones, etc. So price-wise, for a bit more than $100 difference to a GoPro, I should be getting the same quality out of these as well. Mounts for the cameras. The only mounting option for the cameras is a sticky 3M mount, which, fair enough, offers you a lot of places to mount it on your bike, but personally I would have loved some L brackets included so I can mount them on the screws of my signal lights where they would be a bit more inconspicuous. And lastly, there is the price. The unit itself is $460 as of filming this. The combo that I got with the cameras, the TPMS and the nav cradle mount and the cameras, is at the moment of filming $769, which is not peanuts. For the unit itself, Chigee is using 4 GB of RAM, while most of the competition is still using 1 or maximum 2 GB. So they haven't skimped out on memory there. Their processor is a dual-core cell phone processor, but for this price, I really would expect a bit more snappier performance when I'm dragging my maps around or navigating menus. Don't get me wrong, this is by far the best performance I've seen on any of these units, but it is also the most expensive unit I've seen so far. All in all, as a package, as an ecosystem, the AIO-6 is great, and I'm glad they're around to basically turn any dinosaur of a bike into a great navigation, communication, and entertainment behemoth. If there's anything else I haven't covered in this video, the comment section below is the right place for your questions. I'll get back to you on there. I will cover all of the specific BMW cradle, Wonder Wheel, and OBD integration in a separate video, so make sure you are subscribed to catch all of that. Well, that's the show for today, everyone. If you've enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming one of our patrons to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.